Part 44. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 432. 3 days later. Linfeng arrived in Taiyuan, Jin Province. It was the first time he came to the city. He came by train. At this moment, he dragged the trolley out of the train station and glanced at the time. It was almost 9 o'clock in the evening. The lights were bright, and the city was still relatively prosperous. He saw a few black cars that were soliciting business, but he ignored them and continued to walk forward. When he saw a regular taxi, he beckoned. Linfeng didn't notify Zhao Heidao before coming, let alone Su Qingyuan in advance, otherwise this evil woman would have more time to arrange for someone to repair him. If Su Qingyuan became evil, she would be able to do unexpected things, but Linfeng didn't want him to come over this time. Su Qingyuan was too evil to him. It would be great if Su Qingyuan could treat him as a friend and sit down and solve the problem, but Linfeng always felt that his visit this time would not be too smooth. Even if he didn't want to toss, Su Qingyuan would toss. So will Zhao Heidao toss with him too? It is very possible that Linfeng also thought about it. If Zhao Heidao tossed with him, he would use his fist to make Zhao Heidao sober up. His fists are not used to hit friends, but if Zhao Heidao is too bad, he will be welcome. Zhao Heidao is a straightforward person. It can't be said that he has no wealth at all. After all, he is a very intelligent person, but when he hates someone, he will show it clearly, and when he loves someone, he will also very clearly manifest it. At this time, Zhao Heidao's wife was Meng Suili, the woman who was about to give birth to his child. But what he loves most in his heart is Su Qingyuan, the daughter of the coal boss, not because Su Qingyuan is rich, but because he loves her as a person. Su Qingyuan must also love Zhao Heidao, so she hates him so much. To Linfeng's regret, he almost became Su Qingyuan's in revenge against Zhao Heidao. When he was in Shuiqing County, he had never done that kind of thing with Su Qingyuan, and he took good care of Su Qingyuan, but Su Qingyuan insisted that the two of them had done that kind of thing. What's worse is that Zhao Heidao is convinced. At this time, Linfeng's fist was full of power. This time he came here, he did not intend to speak only with his mouth. When necessary, he would dance his fist. Of course, only for friends. No need for dragon legs. Linfeng had never been to the restaurant that Zhao Heidao opened near Jinzhou University of Technology before, but as long as he arrived at Jinzhou University of Technology, it would be easy to find that restaurant. He didn't plan to go over this evening, he planned to find a nice hotel to stay in first. The so-called good, is a little bit of grade, but not too luxurious. Linfeng chose the hotel online before he came. But there was no reservation. He believed that when he arrived, there would still be many rooms in that hotel. Linfeng Grang's brother drove to Kingxian North Street and stopped. He walked into the 3-star hotel and asked for a room. The environment of the hotel room is very good. Linfeng put down the trolley case, sat on the sofa and lit a cigarette. He's a guy who rarely stays in hotels. When I suddenly came to the hotel room, I felt a drifting feeling in an instant. Only people who often drift around will often stay in hotels, some people are on business trips, and some people are traveling. Linfeng is not here for business or travel. He is here to resolve conflicts. He doesn't want to be the culprit all the time, and he doesn't want to lose years of good friends, so he came. His mood is not very good, even a little low, but his thing is still so hard. Linfeng took a shower after smoking a cigarette. When he put on his pajamas and sat on the sofa and turned on the TV, the phone in the room rang and asked him if he wanted service. He politely said, "No, thank you." Some girls with good body and high skills can indeed bring happiness to men, but Linfeng has already thought about it. No matter how long he stays in this hotel room, he will not need special services. Linfeng doesn't have the heart to code for the time being. He has a few days to save manuscripts. Even if he doesn't code for 3 or 2 days, it's nothing. It's just that the amount of manuscripts submitted this month will be less, and the manuscript fee will be correspondingly less, but he has already no longer a person who worries about living expenses. His goal has become to save more money. Midnight is here. From walking into the hotel room to now, Lin Feng's state has been a little confused. He should not have come here at this time, but he has come. If you call Su Qingyuan, the daughter of the coal boss at this time, what will be the result? It is estimated that Su Qingyuan will find someone to come to the hotel room to toss him, maybe a beautiful woman, maybe a tough guy. If Su Qingyuan is evil enough, he may be taken away by the police. Lin Feng resisted the urge to call Su Qingyuan. He planned to talk to Zhao Heidao first, and then notify Su Qingyuan. If he followed the steps, he could walk more steadily. If he did things on a whim, it might make him very passive. The hotel room has a network, and the speed is not slow, but Lin Feng did not use the network in the hotel room. He came here with a wireless network card, and the speed is not slow. Lin Feng opened the page of his novel and read it. All the data made him very happy, and it also made him feel better. There are many fetters in life, but he is also very hopeful. He logged into the chat software and saw the message from the beautiful head nurse Zhu Qingyu. Didn't you see the text message I sent you? Lin Feng, I see. I was on the train at the time, so I didn't get back to you. I'm out of town, so I can't accompany you for coffee tonight. I'll contact you when I get back. Zhu Qingyu, where have you been? Lin Feng, Lop Nor. Zhu Qingyu, damn you, nasty guy, where did you go? It's so mysterious, you can't tell me? Lin Feng didn't expect the beautiful head nurse Zhu Qingyu to want to know where he went, but it's nothing to tell her, and it's nothing to be mysterious. Lin Feng, Taiyuan, Jin Province. Zhu Qingyu, what are you going to do there? Lin Feng, find a friend to play for a few days. Zhu Qingyu has been to Jin Province several times. She has been to Wutai Mountain, Huakao Waterfall, Taiyuan, Jinxi Temple, Tianlong Mountain, Liuxiang, and Fenhe Park, and bought vinegar in Qingxiu. Wine tasting in Xinghua Village. Zhu Qingyu chatted with Lin Feng poetically, as if to blame Lin Feng for not calling her in Taiyuan. This made Lin Feng imagine what it would be like if he came to Taiyuan, Jin Province with the beautiful head nurse Zhu Qingyu. At night, will Zhu Qingyu sleep in the same room with him? Will the hot bodies of him and Zhu Qingyu collide violently and make a popping sound? Will Zhu Qingyu make an intoxicated cry from the big bed in the hotel room? It seems a bit taken for granted. Even if Zhu Qingyu really came with him, he might not do that with him, although Zhu Qingyu felt that he was very similar to Dahe in many ways. If Zhu Qingyu comes, it is very likely to be repaired by Su Qingyuan, the daughter of the coal boss, and even Lin Feng himself is very likely to be repaired by Su Qingyuan. Lin Feng is very good at fighting, but if Su Qingyuan called dozens of people who could fight to besiege him, I am afraid he would be seriously injured. After all, human energy is limited. Lin Feng didn't want the situation to develop to an uncontrollable level, so he hoped that Su Qingyuan would not be crazy to the point of unimaginable. Lin Feng and Zhu Qingyu chatted for almost half an hour. Zhu Qingyu said she was going to bed. Lin Feng sent a picture of kissing, and Zhu Qingyu sent a shy picture. It seems very tacit. It was a little damp at that moment. Lin Feng lay on the bed of the hotel and didn't fall asleep until more than 3 in the morning. When he woke up, it was almost 8 in the morning. He sat up and got out of bed in a daze for a while. After washing up, he went to the hotel restaurant to have breakfast. He didn't eat dinner yesterday because he didn't want to go out when he got to the hotel room, so he ate a lot earlier. Walking on the side road of Qingxian North Street, watching people coming and going, cars coming and going, Lin Feng was full of strength, and he couldn't see the slightest depression. He was like a fighter. Should I call Zhao Heidao first or appear in front of him all of a sudden? Which effect is better? It seems that the sudden attack effect is better. A light smile appeared on the corner of Lin Feng's mouth. He got into the taxi, and his brother said to the front door of Jinzhou University of Technology. Lin Feng has arrived. I've never been here before, so I'm very unfamiliar with him here. He is also very unfamiliar to people who often move around in the vicinity, so when he was walking on the road, several people were watching him. Some of them were waiters or chef owners of nearby restaurants, and some were people who opened clothing stores. There are many storefronts, including restaurants and clothing stores, as well as internet cafes and KTVs. But Lin Feng didn't find Zhao Heidao's restaurant. Did it change its name or location? What is certain is that Zhao Heidao is still in the restaurant business. His ideal is to open a big restaurant or even a 5-star hotel. Although it has not been very smooth and he has not made much money, he is still young and his ideal is still there. No fading. Lin Feng stood near the front door of Jinzhou University of Technology and saw a pretty girl approaching. He stepped forward and smiled and said, "Classmate, let me ask, where is the restaurant opened by Zhao Heidao, who graduated from your school?" "Student restaurant, thank you." "You're welcome." When the pretty girl wriggled her round buttocks and walked into the school gate, Lin Feng walked towards the student restaurant. It turned out that Zhao Heidao's restaurant had really changed its name, and it was changed to a name that could easily make students feel good about it. What made Lin Feng happy was that the size of Zhao Heidao's restaurant was much larger than before. He just passed by the student restaurant and saw the facade and signs are estimated to be 300 square meters. When Lin Feng arrived outside the student restaurant, he was very excited and apprehensive. Just as he was about to walk in, Zhao Heidao suddenly walked out, and their bodies almost collided. At that moment, Lin Feng saw clearly that it was Zhao Heidao, so he did not dodge, but Zhao Heidao suddenly turned sideways. His eyes stayed on Lin Feng's face for a long time, very puzzled and angry. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 433. What are you here for? As long as you don't think I was invited by Su Qingyuan to play, I actually don't want to come, because a sudden trip will affect my life rhythm, but I have to come here once, because I don't want to lose you as a friend. Lin Feng's tone became heavier and heavier. Gradually, Zhao Heidao's eyes became a little wet, and the anger obviously weakened a lot. Come in. Zhao Heidao walked into the hotel first, and Lin Feng also walked in. He saw that the decoration and seats of the hotel were very good, and even the decoration of the ceiling and walls was also very good. It seemed that a lot of money was spent. Zhao Heidao took Lin Feng to a room where he usually rested, about 10 square meters, with a sofa, a coffee table and a single bed. Lin Feng sat on the sofa, lit a cigarette and started smoking. Zhao Heidao made tea and brought it over, sat beside Lin Feng, and also lit a cigarette and started smoking. Where's your wife? Lin Feng asked. She is about to give birth, and the due date is within 10 days, so she is resting at home. No one is with her. A waitress accompanied her, Zhao Heidao said. When your wife is born, it is estimated that your mother will come over. Xueli doesn't have any relatives at home anymore, and the tragic earthquake took it away. Who will come if my mother doesn't come? Zhao Heidao's anger seemed to have returned, and he said coldly, Lin Feng, why don't you say something important? I ask you, did you ever have a relationship with Su Qingyuan that time? If I really had with Su Qingyuan, do you think I would shamelessly take the train to come to you? If Lin Feng doesn't come, Zhao Heidao will always believe that it is a fact, because Su Qingyuan knows where Lin Feng's birthmark is. Even the shape of the birthmark is very clear. Su Qingyuan even said that Lin Feng made her very comfortable. But when Lin Feng came, Zhao Heidao had to think about whether he had really misunderstood Lin Feng in the past few months. When Zhao Heidao and Su Qingyuan were in love before, they knew that this rich daughter loves to play tricks. Could it be that Su Qingyuan was playing tricks this time, deliberately making up that Lin Feng had fallen for her? Lin Feng said, "I have already thought about the situation at the time. It is estimated that Su Qingyuan installed a pinhole camera in my bathroom, so she saw my body and knew where the birthmark was on my body and what shape it was." Yup. Very likely. Zhao Heidao had never done this kind of thing before, so he didn't think of it, but he now thinks that Su Qingyuan probably did it at the time. Lin Feng said, "If Su Qingyuan said it herself, you will be more convinced. Since I am here, I will definitely find her and find a way to get her to tell the truth. It is estimated that she will not cooperate. If you come here alone, it is very likely that you will be repaired by her." "I see, forget it, I don't think about that time, I believe you." "Fuck, what did you do before? Why didn't you believe me before? You believe me when I come." Just here a pop. Lin Feng gave Zhao Heidao a slap in the face, and Zhao Heidao's head was tilted to one side, bleeding from the corners of the mouth. But he laughed. After the slap in the face, he believed even more that Lin Feng had never done anything wrong to him before. Zhao Heidao didn't care to wipe the blood from the corner of his mouth, so he jumped into Lin Feng's arms and cried bitterly, "Dude, I really shouldn't have misunderstood you before, I'm just a bastard. I'm in pain. Xueli and I are married, Xueli is about to have a baby for me, but I still often dream of me and Qingyuan falling in love before, and even dreaming of doing that." Lin Feng was speechless. There is no doubt that Zhao Heidao still loves Su Qingyuan. Although Su Qingyuan has repaired him time and time again, this love has never changed. Lin Feng said, "There are many things that go wrong in life. When you and Xueli's child arrives, your attention will turn to the child. You are a responsible person, and I believe you will be a good husband. Will also be a good father. No matter how much you love Su Qingyuan, you and she have already missed it, and Xueli is the one who will accompany you for the rest of your life. Yeah, I'm the kind of person who won't get divorced after getting married. Even if I get rich in the future, I won't dump Xueli. We have the same idea on this point, and we are indeed good friends for many years," Lin Feng said. "Don't look for Su Qingyuan. Since you're here, I'll accompany you for a few days and walk around. I have to find her." "I believe you, what are you doing with her?" Zhao Heidao said. "Tell her to stop making silly jokes with me in the future." "You believe me, it doesn't mean that Su Qingyuan won't make silly jokes with me in the future. If I don't find her to solve the problem, she will be even tougher on me in the future. Of course, she'll keep fixing you." It is. Even 10 days ago, Zhao Heidao accidentally met Su Qingyuan in Liuxiang, and she slapped her in front of many people. Zhao Heidao felt ashamed of Su Qingyuan, so he lost face after being slapped in the face. He didn't say anything, but fled. Su Qingyuan's repeated repairs in different ways had already cast a psychological shadow on him. If Su Qingyuan stopped repairing him in the future, he would be much more relaxed. "Where do you live?" "A hotel on Kingxian North Street," Lin Feng said. "Stay at my house." "Your buddy, I already have a 3-bedroom apartment in Taiyuan. What hotel are you staying in when you come?" "I'd better stay in a hotel, it will be more convenient to communicate with Su Qingyuan. If she wants someone to fix me, I can deal with it. If I live at your house and Su Qingyuan wants to fix me, she will call you." Lin Feng smiled. "If this happens, the problem will be serious. Meng Suili is about to give birth. If she is strongly frightened at this time, the consequences will be disastrous. Dude, I'm the one who's sorry for you. In fact, it's me who caused your troubles, and you've always been a friend to me, but fuck." Zhao Heidao slapped himself twice. It is undoubtedly a very pleasant thing for Lin Feng to get the understanding of his good friends. It can be said that half of the purpose of his trip has been achieved, and the remaining half is related to Su Qingyuan. After having lunch together at Zhao Heidao's student restaurant, Lin Feng and Zhao Heidao went home together. He bought nutritional supplements and looked at Meng Suili, who had a big belly and could give birth at any time. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Feng returned to his family hotel in Xianbei Street. Sitting on the sofa and lighting a cigarette, Lin Feng called Su Qingyuan after taking a few puffs. After a while, Su Qingyuan picked it up, first let out a very hot laughter, and then said, "Hero, hello, I dreamed of our warm scene a few days ago, you will call me now, look. Come here, you are also obsessed with me, when can we meet again, bang bang." Very bold and crazy but also hateful. Even at this time, Su Qingyuan still told the truth about what had never happened. Lin Feng told Su Qingyuan that he had come to Taiyuan, and even told her the name of the hotel. Su Qingyuan was silent. She didn't expect Lin Feng to call him from a hotel room on Kingxian North Street. What Lin Feng is here for, he knows very well. She was surprised and angry, but her laughter softened. "Since you are here, do you really want to see me? Aren't you nonsense? If I don't want to see you, what am I going to do? But don't get me wrong, I don't want to see you because I miss you, I want you to make it clear to your face, your prank has already been played. It's been a few months, and there's no point in continuing to play," Lin Feng said. "It doesn't seem interesting to continue playing. Well, wait for me. I'll be at your hotel in more than an hour." Su Qingyuan agreed, and Lin Feng's mood instantly relaxed a lot. Maybe things would go a little smoother than he imagined. As time passed, more than half an hour had passed. If Su Qingyuan was punctual, she would have appeared within half an hour. What attitude would Su Qingyuan have towards him, and how should he communicate with Su Qingyuan? Lin Feng had thought about these questions many times before, even after he got on the train, but now he has to think about it again. Someone knocked on the door. "Is it coming?" Lin Feng opened the door, and what he saw was not Su Qingyuan, but her bodyguard Cao Lin. Cao Lin has a good impression of Lin Feng. Before in Shuiqing County, Cao Lin and Lin Feng had a certain level of ambiguity, but they didn't take off their pants to do that. "It's you, why didn't Su Qingyuan come?" "She asked me to invite you." Cao Lin sat on the sofa, and Lin Feng sat beside her. Cao Lin is a very attractive girl, her seemingly ordinary face becomes more and more interesting, and her figure is very hot, and her legs are very strong. "What brand of perfume do you use?" "Opium." The opium mentioned here is not the kind of harmful thing, but a foreign high-end perfume brand. Lin Feng said, "It's very classy. Since you are alive and capable, you have to come up with some grades. Aren't you getting more and more grades? Your book data has improved a lot, and your manuscript fees must have also increased a lot." "How much?" "More than 30,000. It's really good. There will be more and more in the future. I'm very happy for you." Cao Lin's eyes were a little erratic. Both Lin Feng and Cao Lin became silent. After a while, Lin Feng said, "What exactly did Su Qingyuan ask you to do? Did she ask you to come and fix me? She knows I can't beat you. That's why she wants you to repair me with a bad move," Lin Feng said. "Where did you see it?" "Your eyes and your gestures. Your eyes have always been a little erratic, and your gestures, you just touched your hair twice in a row, this is a manifestation of anxiety," Lin Feng said. "Do I have it?" "You have," Lin Feng said. "To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Sci-fi. Chapter 434. Cao Lin's face was a little abnormal. 2 minutes later, she took out a small paper bag from her satchel and smiled relievedly. "It's a sweat medicine. I should have thought of using this sweat medicine on you, and beat you. Done, not only let you have external injuries, but also let you have internal injuries, but I really can't do it. Actually, you have a good chance to use this Mongolian sweat medicine on me. After all, you are also a master. You gave up like this. It is estimated that Su Qingyuan will cause trouble for you. You take her money and don't do anything for her. Instead, you stand up. On my side, this is a bit. You bastard, I don't want to use this Mongolian sweat medicine on you, but you are starting to teach me a lesson. You have to be clear, I don't want to use Mongolian sweat medicine for you, it's not on your side. I'm taking Su Qingyuan's salary, so she's still my boss, and it's my business whether she will fix me or not." Cao Lin was angry. Lin Feng could only be silent again. Cao Lin didn't use the sweat medicine on him, so he passed another level. At the same time, he also knew that Su Qingyuan still wanted to continue repairing him and would not meet him easily. Although Zhao Heidao already believed him, it was still very difficult for Su Qingyuan to tell the truth. But Lin Feng had already made up his mind that no matter how difficult it was, he would let Su Qingyuan say it herself. Lin Feng said, "I have already thought about the situation at that time. Su Qingyuan installed a pinhole camera in my bathroom, saw my body while I was taking a shower, and then made up what happened next. You must know the truth, can you tell me?" Cao Lin interrupted him and sneered, "If you want to verify whether your thoughts are correct. I'm afraid only Su Qingyuan can tell you what's going on, I know. But I won't say it, even if you are here. The hotel room tortured me, and I wouldn't say it. If you don't want to say it, I don't need to force you to say it, I will let Su Qingyuan say it herself. You can go," Lin Feng said. Cao Lin walked towards the door and reached out to open the door, but she did not open the door. Instead, he flew towards Lin Feng and threw himself into his arms with great force. The softness and heat came together, which made Lin Feng's body and mind feel at ease. When he was in Shuiqing County, Cao Lin gave him a little comfort, and at this time, Cao Lin brought him comfort again. Lin Feng kissed Cao Lin's soft lips, and his and Cao Lin's tongues quickly became entangled like little snakes. Kissing. Lin Feng was also stroking Cao Lin's body. She didn't resist at all and was very cooperative. From Cao Lin's breathing, she could feel that the enthusiasm from Lin Feng was a wonderful enjoyment for her. Lin Feng picked up Cao Lin and walked towards the bed, and the two bodies of desire rolled on the big soft bed together. It is impossible for Lin Feng and Cao Lin to become boyfriend and girlfriend, and Cao Lin cannot be his lover either. It is because of desire. Lin Feng took off Cao Lin's clothes and also his clothes. Cao Lin took the initiative to take off the chest photo, exposing her full chest to Lin Feng. Her are full and her are delicate. When Lin Feng only had a pair of trousers left, his hand touched Cao Lin's trousers, and pressed for a moment before pulling off her trousers. That moment, Cao Lin was a little nervous, her slender legs were bent, and Lin Feng's hands were separated as soon as they were tight. Lin Feng broke into Cao Lin's body, and the two fiery bodies created extraordinary enthusiasm. Slow attack, fast attack, slow attack. Constantly changing the rhythm and changing the posture, Lin Feng made Cao Lin extremely comfortable, and Cao Lin's smooth body also brought him a very wonderful enjoyment. When Lin Feng was smoking a cigarette after the incident in a good mood, Cao Lin became sad, let Lin Feng go and slept together, feeling comfortable and enjoyable, but what should he explain to Su Qingyuan next? If Su Qingyuan knew what happened in the hotel room, she would probably even have the heart to kill her. Cao Lin didn't think about avoiding, let alone running away. She planned to appear in front of Su Qingyuan calmly and tell her everything, including sleeping with Lin Feng. Lin Feng's hand fluttered at Cao Lin's wet softness again. Cao Lin took a breath and pushed his hand away. I'm leaving. Don't want a brace. Open your sister. Do not open and pull down, Lin Feng said. You kid, feel good, the enthusiasm of the two of us just now is enough for you to reminisce. I'm going to find Qingyuan. Where is she? Cannot tell you. Cao Lin left, and Lin Feng continued to lie on the bed. He didn't even put on his shorts right away. There was still the smell of Cao Lin's body on the bed, and what flashed in Lin Feng's mind was the scene of him attacking Cao Lin's body. Very enjoyable. Very confused. But Lin Feng hopes that the blur will become clearer in the future. Su Qingyuan's father, Su Kailu, a coal boss, has a very luxurious villa in Taiyuan, which cost over 100 million yuan, but Su Qingyuan was not in the villa at this time, but in his mansion on Ying Street. The duplex building is more than 300 square meters, which is similar to Lin Feng's luxury house in Beijing. This mansion is Su Qingyuan's private residence. When she wants to live a leisurely life or when she wants to calm herself down, she will come here. At this time, she is in this mansion, surrounded by a Russian woman named Victoria. In Russian, the name means victory. Victoria has a beautiful face and an unbelievable figure. She is about 175 in height, graceful and hot, and she walks very unrestrainedly. She is a master fighter and has indeed won many victories before. Su Qingyuan spent a lot of energy to find such a top-notch Russian beauty bodyguard. In addition to her own safety, the more important issue is face. Victoria is very powerful, and indeed she has earned enough face for her in Su Qingyuan's circle, which makes many people envious. At this time, Su Qingyuan was a little uneasy. She didn't know how Cao Lin did things. She lit a cigarette and smoked a little melancholy. Victoria smiled and said, "Boss, are you worried that Cao Lin can't deal with that Lin Feng? You might as well let me go and break Lin Feng's arms and legs in 3 minutes." Su Qingyuan knows that Lin Feng's kung fu is not weak, but she doesn't know how powerful Lin Feng's kung fu is. She thinks that the Russian beauty Victoria will have no problem with Lin Feng. Victoria's slender legs can kick Lin Feng to the point of crying. Mother's point. Su Qingyuan said, "When it's time for you to take action, I will let you take action. At present, it seems that you don't need to take action." Cao Lin finally came back, and Su Qingyuan could see from her face that the action failed. Su Qingyuan said, "Did you let Lin Feng see through?" "No. That is to say, you have beaten Lin Feng so hard that his external and internal injuries are very serious," Su Qingyuan said. "Nor. What is that? At such a critical moment, you won't tell him all of my plans," Su Qingyuan said angrily. "I didn't tell him your plan completely, I just told him that I went with Menghan medicine," Cao Lin said. "You. I'm so disappointed." Su Qingyuan rushed over, slapped Cao Lin twice, and then burst into tears. Seeing Su Qingyuan crying, the Russian beauty Victoria was very angry and kicked Cao Lin's stomach. Victoria didn't use much strength, but Cao Lin still flew out, bent her body, and screamed while covering her stomach. It can be seen that Victoria is indeed a master, and her legs can explode. Terrifying power. Su Qingyuan said angrily, "Victoria, what are you doing? Who asked you to beat her?" "Boss, but, she made you very angry." "Even if she makes me angry, you don't need to hit her." "Since I didn't order you, don't do anything casually," Su Qingyuan said. "Boss, I understand." Victoria was very embarrassed. She found that the kick she just kicked Cao Lin was purely unnecessary. Su Qingyuan helped Cao Lin up, sat on the sofa together, and asked with concern, "Does your stomach hurt?" "It's better, it's okay, Victoria didn't kick me too hard just now, otherwise I might have to lie in the hospital for a while. Cao Lin, I'm sorry. Victoria is a woman who is very knowledgeable. She knew that her kick just now was too much, so she apologized to Cao Lin in time. Su Qingyuan planned to chat with Cao Lin alone for a while, so she let Victoria go out first. What did you and Lin Feng do? Sleep. You, really, let me say something about you. Su Qingyuan wanted to scold Cao Lin for the trigger, but she didn't want to apply the word trigger to Cao Lin. Because all along, Cao Lin is not only her bodyguard, but also her good friend. When she has something on her mind, she often talks to Cao Lin. I know I've disappointed you. Maybe you think I'm a shameless woman, but I can't control myself. I just want something to happen to Lin Feng, Cao Lin said. You fell in love with him. I don't know if it's love, it's just, I really want to pay for him. I also know that there will be no result between me and him, Cao Lin said. It's desire. Su Qingyuan said in her heart, in fact, I have always let Lin Feng take the blame. Is also a desire, a crazy desire for revenge, and I want Zhao Heidao to enjoy the taste of his friend's disobedience. Boss, I think enough is enough. In the past few months, you have gone too far. No matter what Zhao Heidao did to you, when he was in Shuiqing County, Lin Feng was very interesting to us. Lin Feng is really a very good person. I also admit that Lin Feng is a very good person. Otherwise, he doesn't deserve to be repaired by me. I will continue to repair him. It's not that easy to see me and tell me the truth, Su Qingyuan said. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 435. Cao Lin was speechless. All she can do is not to use Menghan medicine on Lin Feng, and then she can only wait and see what happens. She knew what Su Qingyuan wanted to do next, because it was all negotiated in advance, but she would not tell Lin Feng. Hotel room. Lin Feng started to code, and he was in a very special mood, because this was the first time he coded words in a hotel room. He was coding a plot that had already been set, but there was a sense of strangeness, probably caused by the environment. This time, he even brought the mechanical keyboard that the beauty editor-in-chief Ai Wen gave him. It was very convenient, so his speed was not slow. He wrote more than 8,000 words in 2 hours. He planned to take a break to continue coding. Today the goal is 12,000 words. Zhao Heidao called and said that he wanted to come to the hotel where he was staying, and Lin Feng agreed to let him come. He and Zhao Heidao are good friends again, and the friendship for many years has finally continued, which is not easy. Zhao Heidao was about to arrive, and Lin Feng waited for him outside the hotel. In fact, he was a little worried that Zhao Heidao would be attacked by those who were brought by Su Qingyuan. When he saw the very high-end BMW 7 Series, he was relieved a lot. The high-end BMW parked in the underground parking space of the hotel. Zhao Heidao got out of the car and went to the hotel room with Lin Feng. They sat on the sofa. Dude, I prepared this cigarette for you. If it were me, I wouldn't buy such a good cigarette. I also prepared a good cigarette for you here. Lin Feng threw Zhao Heidao 6 packs of cigarettes, including 2 soft packs of Yellow Crane Tower 1916, 2 packs of Cordyceps sinensis, and 2 packs of Great Nanjing, which is the legendary 95. You are great. Some are good smokes, Lin Feng said with a smile. You kid is better than me. We are about the same, Lin Feng said. When it comes to the middle school days, there is one person who cannot be avoided, and that is Wang Xiaoqian. Wang Xiaoqian cleaned up Zhao Heidao before, but Zhao Heidao didn't hate her for a long time, and only regarded it as the madness of the rebellious era. At this time, he was very worried about Wang Xiaoqian's situation. Lin Feng said, Xiaoqian's situation is not very good. It is difficult for a divorced woman, and the shadow of Zhang Jian's suicide will always be with her. But I also believe that she will get over the better. Because of you nourishing her. Fuck you, Lin Feng smiled. Don't come here, even if you didn't say it, I know that you and her have already been there. Can you talk about it? Do that with the school beauties in our junior high school days. Are you happy? It's cool. Is she famous? Very famous, Lin Feng said. If Wang Xiaoqian knew that Lin Feng Zheng and Zhao Heidao were chatting about whether she was a famous weapon in the room of Taiyuan Hotel in Jin Province, she must be very angry. But she didn't hear it, she was living a different life in another place. Talking about the high-end BMW 7 Series, Zhao Heidao still has no good feelings for this weapon. This car must be very cool to drive. It will make many women who have no money and worship money crazy, but Zhao Heidao did not drive this car to make an appointment, but often drove Meng Suili to the hospital for a maternity check in this car. The car was given by Su Qingyuan, but he and Meng Suili were the people sitting in the car. Every time he put his hands on the steering wheel, he would think of his love with Su Qingyuan, and this was what Su Qingyuan wanted. The high-end car that pulled the wind brought endless pain to Zhao Heidao. I really want to sell this car. But you dare not, Lin Feng said. I don't dare, my buddy is actually very courageous, but I just can't afford to offend Su Qingyuan. If I sell this car, Su Qingyuan will definitely find someone to beat me to a cripple. Love and hate, I also believe that if you dare to sell a car, Su Qingyuan will dare to you, but this time I am here, not only to let Su Qingyuan tell the truth, but also to let her sell the car. Take it back. Can you really do it? Zhao Heidao was very excited. I don't know either, Lin Feng said. I thought you were already very confident. Zhao Heidao was a little depressed again. Your wife may give birth at any time. If you stay with her more, even if your restaurant can make money, it is not as important as your wife. I will, Zhao Heidao said. After having dinner together, Zhao Heidao drove away, leaving Lin Feng alone in the hotel room. It is easy to feel lonely in a hotel room in a foreign country. For example, Lin Feng felt lonely at this time. Numbers. See a movie. Before I knew it, it was already midnight. Lin Feng didn't feel sleepy, and after playing web games for a while, he lay on the bed. The most beautiful beauty Danan called, he smiled, and answered, "Did you miss me?" It's really annoying, who misses you, just ask, how are your affairs, have you seen Su Qingyuan? Not yet. She doesn't want to see you, Danan was worried. She doesn't want to see me, but I will find a way to see her, and I won't run away in vain. Remember to think of green bamboo. I was thinking of her just now. Lin Feng didn't lie, he thought of Tian Qingzu when he was coding and watching movies. After 10 o'clock in the morning, Lin Feng received a call from Su Qingyuan. He was very angry and excited. He hoped that Su Qingyuan could talk about something substantive and stop talking nonsense. Lin Feng picked it up. When are you going to see me? Dear, are you in a hurry? I'm not your dear, if you continue like this, you won't even have to be friends, Lin Feng said. Trigger, you're threatening me again, you know, my mother doesn't eat this. You are so nasty. If you say it again, I really don't see you, you must be afraid of running for nothing, if you don't follow my wishes, you will run for nothing, don't you really want to see me? 3 in the afternoon. See you outside the gate of Jinxi Park. Are you really going? Lin Feng said. If you suspect that I won't go, then don't go either, just stay in the hotel room. I will go, I hope you can go too, don't continue to play boring games, you are a noble beauty, don't let me despise you, Lin Feng said. Hang that hanger. I'm just hanging, Lin Feng said. It's irritating. Even when she was angry, Su Qingyuan's voice was so sweet. Although Lin Feng didn't have the heart to do that with Su Qingyuan, He had to admit that Su Qingyuan was a beautiful woman who could easily make men impulsive. Lin Feng didn't know what would happen when he arrived outside the gate of Jinxi Park at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So he plans to code words first. Before lunch, I typed 5,000 words. After lunch, he typed another 5,000 words, and today has already written 10,000 words. Even if he stopped typing until midnight, he would not feel that his time was wasted. Lin Feng arrived outside Jinxi Park on time. This is a park that was built in the Northern Wei dynasty. Very historical and very large. There are many inscriptions in the park, many of which are of calligraphic value, and the natural scenery of the park is also very beautiful. If you can talk to Su Qingyuan while walking around the park, it's quite a pleasure. But Lin Feng also knows that this possibility is very small. Even if Su Qingyuan does appear, she will not appear alone, but will appear with a group of people. It was already 3:10, and there was no movement at all. Lin Feng looked at the road in the distance, and there was no sign of a car coming over. He began to consider whether he was being let go. Lin Feng did not call Su Qingyuan, but continued to wait. Another 10 minutes later, a motorcycle drove over, driven by a strong man. The motorcycle stopped beside Lin Feng, and the strong man said gruffly, "Are you Lin Feng?" "It's me. Come with me." "All right." Lin Feng is not very afraid. Even if he gets on a motorcycle, this man has no ability to do anything to him. He can easily make this man who drives a motorcycle disabled. The motorcycle drove about 1 kilometer and stopped in an open space. At this time, there were 5 motorcycles in the open space. Including the one that Lin Feng was sitting on, there were 6 in total. The other 5 motorcycles were all 2 people. There were a total of 11 strong men who came over from La Lin Feng just now. A red-haired young man walked towards Lin Feng while flapping his stick, and the others leaned on the motorcycle. "Are you good at fighting?" "That's normal." "Where's Su Qingyuan?" Lin Feng asked. "You have to pass our level before you can see her. If you let us down and can't stand up, I'm afraid you won't be able to see her." The red-haired young man looked at Lin Feng's face with contempt. If you think Miss Su is someone you can see if you want, you will owe blood." At that moment, the red-haired youth waved the stick in his hand, but it was his right leg that really attacked Lin Feng. He first kicked Lin Feng's chest straight, and the moment Lin Feng dodged, he slapped Lin Feng's waist again with a whip leg. When Lin Feng avoided it again, the swinging stick in his hand hit Lin Feng's head. It was a very good swinging stick. If it hit a person's head, I am afraid he would be bleeding. The moment Lin Feng dodged, he punched the red-haired young man's wrist, and while the red-haired young man screamed, he threw his stick and flew out. Lin Feng was obviously angry. Just as the red-haired youth stumbled to one side, he kicked the red-haired youth with one leg. Although he controlled his strength, the red-haired youth still flew 3 meters away. The body collided violently with the ground, a mouthful of blood spurted out, the face was full of blood, and the internal injury was also very serious. A few more people leaned over, with swinging sticks and unbladed machetes in their hands. As they approached, Lin Feng kicked out with a few kicks, and 3 more people fell to the ground, but none of them were injured. The red-haired youth who shot the first shot was so heavy. A machete slashed towards Lin Feng's arm. The moment Lin Feng dodged, a punch hit the man's cheek, and the man fell to the ground. Another 2 swinging sticks attacked. Lin Feng grabbed one person's wrist, raised his knee to his chest, and the leg that raised the knee suddenly slammed towards the other person's waist. To be continued. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 436. When the 2 fell to the ground, 2 large displacement motorcycles roared and rammed towards Lin Feng. The moment Lin Feng dodged, the person riding the motorcycle wiped the floor with his feet, and the person in the back seat waved his stick and greeted Lin Feng's head. Tough enough. Also fast enough. But nothing. Lin Feng avoided, and kicked a person sitting in the back seat of the motorcycle with a kick. The moment his body rotated, he kicked down a motorcycle again. The spinning motorcycle wheels rubbed the rider's thighs to the point of blood. At this time, there are only two people left who can continue to deal with Lin Feng. One is riding a motorcycle, and the other is sitting in the back seat. The motorcycle roared, not rushing towards Lin Feng, but fleeing. Lin Feng sneered first, then bitterly. None of the people who fell to the ground were in danger, even the most seriously injured red-haired youth could not die. Lin Feng walked into Jinsei Park for a stroll. Although he had just experienced a tragic fight, he was not in a bad mood. After all, he was the victor in the tragic fight just now. More than an hour later, when Lin Feng walked out of Jinsei Park and came to the place of right and wrong, he found that the injured person was gone, and several motorcycles were gone. It must have been taken away by the people sent by Su Qingyuan. Su Qingyuan's people did come here just now, and it was the Russian beauty Victoria who brought people over and took them away. Lin Feng's kung fu clearly exceeded Su Qingyuan and Victoria's expectations, but until now, Victoria doesn't think that Lin Feng is her opponent because of what Lin Feng just did. She can do it easily. In the past, she even dealt with more than 10 motorcycle attacks, but Lin Feng just dealt with 6 motorcycles, and these people are not experts. In Su Qingyuan's private mansion, there is only Cao Lin by her side. Although Cao Lin disappointed her with the task she gave to Cao Lin this time, Cao Lin is still the person she trusts the most. Su Qingyuan said, "I really didn't expect Lin Feng's kung fu to be so powerful. These fighting Oilers rode 6 motorcycles over. They are not his opponents. If it wasn't for Lin Feng's mercy, it is estimated that a few of these people would die. Lin Feng's kung fu is very high, and his character is also very good. I admire him very much. Don't you admire him at all? You don't come here, you admire him. It's your business. Who am I? I'm Su Qingyuan. I still can't help admiring him. In my heart, he is still a trigger. Even if he's still a trigger in your heart, you should meet him. This time, he won't give up until he sees you," Cao Lin said. "If I don't want to see him, he really can't see me. Even if he can fight well, he still won't see me. But, I've decided to see him. I'll see him tomorrow morning. Isn't it a joke this time? No. Su Qingyuan is serious this time and will meet Lin Feng tomorrow morning." When Lin Feng returned to the hotel room from Jinsei Park, it was already dark, and fighting with those motorcycle riders didn't cost him much physical strength, but he was a little tired. "The key is that my heart is a little tired. It is really scary for a woman like Su Qingyuan to be ruthless." Lin Feng began to worry that he would not see Su Qingyuan until he left. Although his good friend Zhao Heidao believed him, if Su Qingyuan was not allowed to tell the truth, it would be considered a failure of his trip. He even had an illusion that he could use this to ease the relationship between Su Qingyuan and Zhao Heidao. Because Su Qingyuan's repairs have seriously affected Zhao Heidao's life, if this state continues for a few years, perhaps Zhao Heidao will become a schizophrenic. Leaning on the sofa, Lin Feng turned out to be half asleep and half awake. The moment the phone rang, he woke up. When he saw that it was Su Qingyuan, he was very angry. Lin Feng picked it up and said coldly, "Su Qingyuan, are you going too far? If you continue to play me like a monkey, you will pay the price. Your temper is quite big. You have beaten my people like that, and you still lose your temper. That's what you deserve. If you didn't want them to beat me up, they wouldn't be repaired by me. I've already shown mercy, otherwise they'll all be disabled." Lin Feng is definitely not bragging, because it is too easy for him to make those people crippled. Su Qingyuan said, "Tomorrow at 10 o'clock, I will come to your hotel room to find you. Are you really coming?" "Since the old lady told you personally, it will definitely be honored," Su Qingyuan said. "You told me last time yourself." "It didn't count last time, but this time," Su Qingyuan said. Lin Feng's head is a little big, and he doesn't know if he should believe what Su Qingyuan just said. How about not believing? What about the letter? Whether Su Qingyuan will release his pigeons will only be known tomorrow morning. He is a little out of energy, but it is definitely too early to go to bed at this time. Even if he arrives at a hotel out of town, he can't be so depraved. He is an online writer in the new era, and he should be able to get excited when he wants to. So he got up in an instant, turned on the computer, and browsed the pages of the book. Stimulated by the rapidly improving data, he became more and more excited, and soon began to open the document and type on the keyboard. In more than 3 hours, Lin Feng published 12,000 words, that is, 4 chapters of 3,000 words. With a sense of accomplishment, he lit a cigarette and started smoking. After 2 puffs, the beauty editor-in-chief Ai Wen called. Since that misunderstanding, Lin Feng has not seen Ai Wen. Could it be that Ai Wen wants to invite him out for a walk? It is a pity that he is not in Beijing. Lin Feng picked it up and smiled. Ai Wen, guess where I am? The master bedroom you rented. Wrong. Your mansion. Nor. That's the street. It's still not right. Lin Feng also felt a sense of accomplishment in his joke with Ai Wen, for the simple reason that Ai Wen didn't guess where he was. Ai Wen said, "You bastard, you are so annoying, where are you, just tell me." Hotel in Taiyuan, Jin Province. What did you do there? This will delay your coding, you really, just run around as soon as you have some manuscripts saved. Just today, the company's general manager and editor-in-chief praised your book in front of you. All the editors said, Yvonne said. Lin Feng is in a happier mood, and being affirmed by the company's general manager and editor-in-chief is undoubtedly a good thing for an author. Lin Feng said, I came here to find a friend and do something, but I will be back soon. The recent plot of your book is very powerful. It's good to have a manuscript, so you don't have to rush into it when you write it. The plot of my book has always been very powerful, whether I have a manuscript or not, Lin Feng said. You have to worry. Since you are out of town, let's forget it first. Originally, I wanted to ask you out for a drink. It seems that I can only drink at home alone. If you really want to drink, just follow what you just said, drink at home alone, don't run out, a beautiful woman like you drinking alone outside, it is easy to meet hooligans, Lin Feng said. Who are you to me? You care so much about me. Are you my boyfriend? It's not your boyfriend, but I'm your good friend. Lin Feng felt that Ai Wen's words were quite mysterious, but he didn't want to think about it. Morning. It was already 9:30. If Su Qingyuan really showed up, it would still be half an hour. The appointment was at 10 o'clock, and after that time, it was equivalent to him being released, because he had a high possibility of being released. It was 10 o'clock in 10 minutes, and Lin Feng was even a little nervous. He said in his heart, Su Qingyuan, you crazy woman actually made me a little nervous. 5 minutes later, he heard a knock on the door, walked over to open the door, and Su Qingyuan and the Russian beauty Victoria appeared. It was the first time that Lin Feng had seen this beautiful and hot Russian woman, but he knew that this woman with big breasts, big butt, big slender legs was the Victoria Cao Lin had mentioned to him. She was a top martial artist who beat people fast and hard. Staring at Lin Feng's face, Su Qingyuan showed a fascinated smile. You kid can see my sincerity, I arrived 5 minutes early. But the 5 minutes you arrived early was based on putting my pigeons twice in a row. What's more, the first time you wanted to use the sweat medicine against me, the second time you wanted a group of people to beat me up half dead. Lin Feng's face became gloomy. This kind of experience made it hard for him to be happy. If it wasn't for his superior skills, I'm afraid it would have been too sad. Su Qingyuan sat on the sofa, with Victoria standing beside her. Su Qingyuan lit a cigarette and let out a breath of smoke leisurely. I really wanted to fix you, but I let you both. It has been repaired. The enthusiasm between you and Cao Lin is actually considered to be that you have repaired her, and you have repaired her so comfortably. Su Qingyuan's teasing with resentment made Lin Feng's body stand tall and straight. The key is that the Russian beauty Victoria Asia standing next to her is too hot and unrestrained, and her body exudes a fragrance that can make men very ecstatic. Not sure what brand of perfume she uses. Lin Feng said, it seems that it's time to talk about business. It's really not easy to see you. If you don't get to the point quickly, I'm afraid that you will suddenly leave again. I can't kidnap you in this hotel room. The word kidnapping brought strong excitement to Victoria. Her mission was to prevent Su Qingyuan from being bullied, let alone being kidnapped, but Lin Feng actually mentioned kidnapping just now. Without warning, Victoria's fist slammed into Lin Feng's face. Lin Feng did not expect that Victoria would suddenly attack him, and the punching speed was very fast. It was too late to dodge. He could only block with his left arm, and at the same time punched Victoria's stomach with his right fist. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 437. As expected, Victoria was not a vegetarian. She avoided Lin Feng's fist. The moment she stepped back, she kicked Lin Feng's head with a swipe. The moment Lin Feng dodged, Victoria's second leg had already kicked over, and the slender legs were fragrant, causing him a great sense of oppression. The moment Lin Feng blocked, he stood up sideways and kept out with Victoria. About 2 meters away. Lin Feng, your kung fu is very good, but I believe that you are not my opponent. Your fighting skills are very high, but you may not be able to beat me, but this is a hotel room. If I damage something, I will pay for it. If you want to fight, we will change to a more spacious place, Lin Feng said. Happy. Victoria believes that Lin Feng is indeed a very happy person, and such a person is very appealing to her. Through the fight just now, Su Qingyuan did not see whether it was Lin Feng or Victoria who was more powerful. Maybe Victoria really has the ability to beat Lin Feng. Su Qingyuan smiled and said, you want me to tell the truth in front of Zhao Heidao? It's not impossible. As long as you can beat Victoria, I will do it. Real. Absolutely true, Su Qingyuan said. Lin Feng didn't have to decide the outcome with Victoria. Although his kung fu was very high, he was not a combative person. But the current situation is that he can't do it without a fight with Victoria. Only by defeating this hot and unrestrained Russian beauty can he achieve his goal. To do this in vain. Victoria's slender legs trembled and smiled. Lin Feng. When are you going to fight me? 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Where? You choose, Lin Feng said. It's better to be near Jinsei Park. You took care of the people riding motorcycles there, and I'll take care of you there. What Victoria did was nothing more than wanting to show a good performance in front of Su Qingyuan, the beautiful boss of Duojin. Lin Feng had no objection. What Lin Feng didn't expect was that Su Qingyuan offered to invite him to dinner, and it was not easy to eat Su Qingyuan's meal, so he naturally wouldn't refuse. The food in the restaurant of this 3-star hotel where Lin Feng lives is very good. But Su Qingyuan proposed to invite him at Sanjin restaurant, but he still had no opinion. It may be a good thing to change the place and change the mood. Inspiration can happen anywhere, miracles can happen anywhere. Lin Feng and Su Qingyuan both sat in the back row of the Porsche Cayenne, and Victoria drove. High-end cars can always bring people a wonderful enjoyment, and the dynamic dance music can also make people's hearts float, as if the whole body is flying in the air. Su Qingyuan's warm eyes fell on Lin Feng's face. It turned out to be holding Lin Feng's hand. Feeling a moment of softness, Lin Feng's hand instinctively shrank, but Su Qingyuan's hand also exerted force at that moment, suggesting that Lin Feng should not take it away. Holding hands is not an ambiguous action for men and women, but it also needs to be divided into occasions and people. In this atmosphere, Su Qingyuan grabbed his hand. Even if it's kind of ambiguous. Lin Feng smiled and said, I'm not Zhao Heidao, so you don't have to be so fierce with me. Your face is not as handsome as Zhao Heidao, but your body is taller and straighter than his, and the man on you is stronger than him. You used to spend a lot of time with Zhao Heidao, you should know that. Zhao Heidao is not just a handsome guy, he is also very manly, Lin Feng said. If he's just a creamy kid who can't handle it? I've kicked him long ago, and I won't be heartbroken just because he married another woman. It's a foregone conclusion, you should let it go. Your father runs a coal mine and a big business. He must be a sensible person. Didn't he say anything to you about this? Lin Feng said. My dad is very arrogant. If I hadn't blocked him, he would have found someone to assassinate Zhao Heidao. It sounds scary. But this is definitely no joke. The problem seems to be more complicated than Lin Feng imagined, because even Su Qingyuan's father Su Kailu hates Zhao Heidao so much. Sanjin restaurant has arrived, with a large area and high quality, but the main dishes here are home-cooked dishes, which are of high quality and low price, and the business is naturally very hot. Lin Feng, Su Qingyuan, and Victoria sat on the second floor together. After ordering, Su Qingyuan asked for a bottle of Old Bayfan, and then said to Victoria, you still have to drive, so don't drink. Okay. When Victoria spoke with a smile, the smell was very charming. I have to say that this woman can show several different tastes, and each taste is easy to make men infatuated. The food and drinks were all served. Lin Feng and Su Qingyuan drank, and Victoria drank Coke. After Lin Feng and Su Qingyuan clinked glasses, she thought that Su Qingyuan would say something, but she just smiled. Beautiful people, more beautiful smiles. Su Qingyuan's smile at this time was not hostile, which made Lin Feng feel much more comfortable. I hope Su Qingyuan will not continue to do things that drive him crazy. Lin Feng said, Zhao Heidao's wife Meng Suili is about to give birth, which is about 10 days. Don't mention him. Okay, don't mention him, then talk about you, what are you doing now? Lin Feng said. I have money, and I can live well without doing anything. You are very rich, and with your personality, you naturally won't be a bitch. Lin Feng said, I guess you still want to make more money than your father. At that moment, joy appeared on Su Qingyuan's beautiful face, and after a while she said, you understand me a little bit. Actually, we didn't communicate much. Every time we communicated in the past, you were fooling around, so I didn't understand you. But what you described to me just now was as accurate as I used the trigger to describe you. Su Qingyuan laughed. Lin Feng was a little embarrassed. Because he is very clear, in Jin province. Trigger is definitely not a good word, only in the case of extreme anger. Only use this word. Of course, some people will take this word as a mantra. When fighting landlords, they will say, stinky trigger, you have made a mistake again. If you are a farmer with you deserve to lose money. Lin Feng wanted to know what Su Qingyuan was doing now. But Su Qingyuan didn't tell him directly. If Su Qingyuan didn't say anything, he didn't plan to ask. What he could be sure of was that Su Qingyuan wouldn't be a gangster, aside from the fact that Su Qingyuan was a very bright woman. After more than an hour, they walked out of the Sanjin restaurant together. Lin Feng and Su Qingyuan both smelled of alcohol, and Victoria was drinking Coke, so she naturally wouldn't have the smell of alcohol. The Porsche Cayenne galloped on the asphalt road, all the way smooth, and soon reached the open space near Jinsei Park. At this time, bloodstains can still be seen in this open space, which was left by Lin Feng and the group of motorcycle riders fighting. It's all the blood of others. After cleaning up those people, Lin Feng didn't even have any scars on his body. Lin Feng and Victoria faced each other. Su Qingyuan folded her arms and stood on the side, her slender legs in a very hot shape. Have to say, this woman Su Qingyuan not only has a beautiful face. The body is also very good. He knows how to make up and has a good taste in perfumes. If a man can have such a noble, beautiful, and graceful wife, his life will not be in vain. Unfortunately, the wrong thing happened to Zhao Heidao and Su Qingyuan. According to Su Qingyuan's original words, if Zhao Heidao had controlled his own thing and hadn't shot at Meng Suili's body, it would not have been like this. Su Qingyuan also said to Zhao Heidao, if you really want to Meng Suili, that's fine, but he will spray outside if you will die even if you put on a condom, you actually make her belly bigger, even if it gets bigger it doesn't matter if you lose her belly, you actually want to be a father to the child in her belly. When Lin Feng and Victoria were brewing face to face, Su Qingyuan thought of her past with Zhao Heidao, her eyes moist again. This kind of wetness made her vision a little blurry, and even the silhouettes of Lin Feng and Victoria became unclear. But she didn't stop to make fun of this fight. She wanted to see who could fight better between Lin Feng and Victoria. Victoria leaned up slowly, as if she wanted to strike first, but Lin Feng stood there and didn't move. His light-hearted appearance made this Russian beauty very annoyed. The popular beauty kicked over, but Lin Feng avoided it, and the popular beauty kicked over with a few kicks, and Lin Feng avoided it. The attack of this Russian beauty was a bit fierce, and Lin Feng had already retreated a few meters while dodging. Rotating kicks, side kicks, whipping legs, violent fists of various angles, Victoria seemed to be pressing Lin Feng all the time. Lin Feng took a kick in the chest, 2 punches in the stomach, and was kicked in the back by Victoria, and once almost fell to the ground. Su Qingyuan vaguely felt that Lin Feng didn't seem to be Victoria's opponent, which gave her a sense of accomplishment. She said in her heart, Russian beauty, you are really tough, so you can give me more face. However, the scene that surprised Su Qingyuan appeared. Lin Feng's legs enveloped Victoria like a howling cold wind. A person's kicking speed can be so fast. Seeing Victoria retreating in a panic and blocking in a panic, Su Qingyuan's heart raised in her throat, and she said, don't fall. Hearing a bang, Lin Feng's leg kicked on Victoria's shoulder, and Victoria flew out, but the moment she rolled, she immediately got up, shrugged, and leaned towards Lin Feng again. As cover with her fists, she kept attacking Lin Feng with her legs, but the power of the Russian beauty was obviously not as powerful as before. The way. Oh ah! This was a cry from Victoria's mouth. Lin Feng kicked her legs with 2 consecutive kicks, and she knelt on one leg to the ground. The moment Lin Feng rushed forward, he appeared on the left side of Victoria, and slapped him in the face. The Russian beauty snorted again and fell to the ground, blood dripping from the corner of her mouth. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. Peach Youth. Author, Su Qifeng. Chapter 438. It turned out that Lin Feng's slap was knocked down. Victoria was very angry, and stood up again, obviously wanting to fight Lin Feng, but Su Qingyuan called to stop. In desperation, Victoria shouted in Russian, which probably means, my boss, are you crazy, how can you stop at this time? But Victoria is not a bodyguard who is so rebellious that the boss can't control it. Since Su Qingyuan called to stop, she does not plan to continue fighting with Lin Feng. The whole body was in pain, but the Russian beauty deliberately took a very graceful step, as if the injury on her body had no effect on her at all. Arriving at Su Qingyuan's side, Victoria put on a very irritating stance, smiled and said, boss, I didn't lose to him, if I continue to fight, I will beat him to shit, oh, I will definitely beat him. His kick was swollen, and his thing turned from a toothpick to a banana. Puff. This is the laughter from the beautiful Su Qingyuan. It was so Coke, presumably because Victoria drank Coke at lunch, so she said such a Coke at this time. Lin Feng's thing is clearly a behemoth, but she actually said that Lin Feng's thing is a toothpick. The word toothpick stimulated Lin Feng a lot, but he didn't explain anything to the Russian beauty, but said in his heart, if there is a chance to be with you in the future, you will know whether I am a toothpick or a big banana, maybe Lao Zi will make you happy madly. Although the fight just now stopped halfway, Victoria was clearly at a disadvantage. When the Porsche Cayenne was speeding on the asphalt road again, the pretty Russian beauty began to mock Lin Feng. Lin Feng, is that thing you have a toothpick? Unless I take off my pants to prove it to you, as long as you don't mind, I can take off my pants at you anytime. You don't have to take off your pants to prove it to me. I believe my guess is right. You are the toothpick. Whatever you think. Lin Feng didn't want to argue with Russian beauties on this issue, so he lit a cigarette and started smoking. After arriving at Su Qingyuan's private mansion on Ying Street together, Lin Feng discovered that Su Qingyuan's mansion was very similar to his mansion in Beijing. The decoration style is not the same, but the style and color of the velvet sofa in the living room are the same. The moment Lin Feng sat on the sofa, he also said in his heart, beautiful Su Qingyuan, we too hit the sofa. Lin Feng didn't plan to tell Su Qingyuan that he had bought a luxury house in Beijing, because in front of this beautiful lady who was addicted to playing pranks, she would try to keep as few irrelevant topics as possible, lest she would make a fuss about it. Su Qingyuan's attitude towards Lin Feng was obviously much better. He personally brewed tea and brought it over, sat beside him, surrounded him with the aroma from his body, and said with a smile, I personally brew tea for you, do you feel flattered? Not yet, but when you explain the problem clearly in front of Zhao Heidao, I guess I will feel flattered. At that time, I asked you to call me Grandma, what is your name? Su Qingyuan said with a drunken smile. Victoria next to him laughed. Lin Feng was very annoyed, and a sullen look appeared on his face. But he didn't have a seizure. Even if you wanted to grow old, I wouldn't call you Grandma. Your sister. I wish I was 100 years younger, so I don't want to grow old, Su Qingyuan said softly. Since you don't want to grow old easily, then don't be a grandmother easily, Lin Feng said. It seems that it's time to talk about business. Don't worry, I will go to Zhao Heidao's restaurant with you in the evening to explain it clearly. There are other things, Lin Feng said. What else? The BMW 7 Series you gave really tormented Zhao Heidao. He doesn't want that car anymore. I hope you can take it back, Lin Feng said. Zhao Heidao said it himself. He said it, Lin Feng said. He doesn't want such a fancy car. Some men are eager to make a profit, but Zhao Heidao just doesn't want to make a profit from me. Su Qingyuan's eyes were a little blurred. It is estimated that she needs to seriously consider this issue, so Lin Feng did not continue to say anything. About 10 minutes later, Su Qingyuan sighed, it seems that Heidao and I should have our own lives, he is him, I am me, I can do it if I can be a friend, but if I can't be a friend, I can't continue to repair it. In fact, every time I repaired him before, I was even more in pain than him. What he admitted was the pain of flesh and blood, but I was in pain in my heart. After you really let go, you won't be bitter anymore. You are so rich, beautiful, and capable. God treats you well, and you will definitely be a very happy woman in the future, Lin Feng said. God must be kind to Su Qingyuan, but whether she will be a happy woman in the future can only be said. It is not that the richer she is, the happier she is. Su Qingyuan agreed to take back the BMW 7 Series that Zhao Heidao had given, and Lin Feng was relieved. But soon Su Qingyuan's soft hand fell on Lin Feng's shoulder, and the moment her body leaned, it almost touched him. She smiled charmingly, if I give you that car, do you want it? It's a good car, but I can't have it. Afraid that Zhao Heidao will despise you. I'm not afraid of who will despise it, it's a matter of principle, I have no reason to want your car, Lin Feng said. Actually, I was just joking. Just now, Su Qingyuan saw from Lin Feng's eyes that he had no intention of being moved at all, which meant that he didn't want that BMW 7 Series at all. Su Qingyuan brought the CD over and smiled. I used the pinhole camera to capture the scene of you taking a bath and engraved it on it. I'll give this to Heidao in the evening. Seeing the CD, Lin Feng will inevitably get angry, but he has no need to attack. Russian beauty Victoria's eyes lit up. If she could see the contents of the CD, you can know whether Lin Feng is a toothpick or not. Maybe he is very burly and that thing is very small. It doesn't match his figure at all. Victoria hoped, "Boss, can I take a look at the CD?" Su Qingyuan smiled and said, "This CD involves Lin Feng's privacy. If he lets you see it, you can see it. If he doesn't want you to see it, you can't." Victoria immediately looked at Lin Feng's face and said in a different tone, "Do you dare to let me see?" "It's not a question of whether you dare or not, it's a question of whether you want to." "I don't want you to see it, so you can't," Lin Feng said. "You." Victoria was angry because Lin Feng didn't give her any face at all. Her fists were clenched, but she didn't wave at Lin Feng, because she knew very well that even if she moved her fists, she probably wouldn't be able to hit Lin Feng. Night. Before leaving for Zhao Heidao's student restaurant, Su Qingyuan prepared a very high-end nutritional product for Meng Suili, which is very good for postpartum women. Lin Feng didn't know whether it was appropriate for Su Qingyuan to bring nutritional supplements to Meng Suili, but Su Qingyuan had already made great concessions. Since she really wanted to do it, he was inconvenient to object. The student restaurant has arrived. Zhao Heidao already had a psychological shadow on Su Qingyuan, and he was a little scared the moment he saw her. "I was afraid that Su Qingyuan would toss in his restaurant." Fortunately, Lin Feng was the only one accompanying Su Qingyuan at this time. If Victoria came too, Zhao Heidao would be even more afraid. In fact, Victoria wanted to come along too, but Lin Feng told her, "You'd better not come along." So Su Qingyuan also meant the same thing, and at that time, Victoria was angry with Lin Feng again. Lounge. Heidao. At this time, Su Qingyuan's voice was very warm. It's like the voice of calling him when you're in love. It's not overbearing, it's very delicate. Su Qingyuan said before, "Heidao, I love you, not just because you are handsome, but because I love you as a whole and everything about you." Su Qingyuan said before, "Heidao, no matter what my father objects, I will marry you, and I will have at least 2 children for you." Su Qingyuan said before, "Heidao, I believe you are someone who can do great things, and I will help you to become a big boss. At that time, my father will no longer despise you." Hearing Su Qingyuan calling him Heidao in a very warm voice, Zhao Heidao couldn't take it anymore and burst into tears almost instantly. Fortunately, he didn't have the urge to hug Su Qingyuan into his arms, otherwise it would have been a mess. Su Qingyuan said, "Heidao, don't cry, it's already like this. You brought me a lot of surprises in the past, you suddenly made Meng Suili's stomach get bigger, you suddenly broke up with me. After so long, I have been torturing you, just because you made me so painful, I even had the heart to kill you. Qingyuan, kill me. I can't bear it." "Oh, you are about to become a father, do you know whether Shueli's belly is a boy or a girl?" "I haven't checked the baby's gender, because I like both boys and girls. Whether you and Shueli's children are like you or her, they will be beautiful," Su Qingyuan said. "I will bless you in the future." "I will also bless you," Zhao Heidao said. Su Qingyuan's hands were trembling, and even the process of opening the bag seemed to take a lot of effort. She took out the CD from the bag and said in a trembling voice, "This is the truth." When the CD was in Zhao Heidao's hands, his hands were shaking. He broke the CD into several pieces without looking at it and threw it into the trash. If Zhao Heidao chooses to watch the CD, Su Qingyuan will be very embarrassed, and Lin Feng will also be very embarrassed. Fortunately, Zhao Heidao is a sensible person, and he destroys the CD in front of Lin Feng and Su Qingyuan. I will drive that car away, Su Qingyuan said. Thank you. But we're still friends. If your business doesn't turn around in the last week, you can come to me. The maximum limit I can give you is 100 million, Su Qingyuan said. Qingyuan, stop talking. Zhao Heidao cried and knelt in front of Su Qingyuan, hugged her slender legs, and repeatedly said, I'm sorry. The tears in Su Qingyuan's eyes were about to be saturated, but she kept holding back and did not cry with Zhao Heidao. She and Zhao Heidao have completely missed it, and this miss is a lifetime. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 439. Half an hour later, Su Qingyuan said, I want to see Shui Li. I brought her pain and shock before, but this time I brought her comfort and nutrition. Okay, let's go to my house. Both Lin Feng and Su Qingyuan went to Zhao Heidao's house, and the decoration of the 3-bedroom apartment was okay. It was glorious but not high-end. In order to prevent Meng Suili from being instantly frightened, she had already explained to her on the phone before she came, but when Meng Suili saw Su Qingyuan, she was still a little scared, and even her face changed color. Su Qingyuan's smile was bright, and her voice was sweet. Beauty is a beautiful woman. She is still so beautiful with a big belly. Maybe you didn't expect me to come to see you with nutritional supplements, but I'm here. Meng Suili was very moved. In fact, it only needed Su Qingyuan to make a little concession, and Meng Suili was moved, not to mention that Su Qingyuan made such a big concession. Sitting on the sofa together, Su Qingyuan and Meng Suili chatted hotly. Lin Feng and Zhao Heidao went to the balcony to drink coke and smoke. During the hot chat, Su Qingyuan really felt Meng Suili's love for Zhao Heidao again. Although Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili were actually cheating on her at the beginning, Meng Suili's love for Zhao Heidao was impeccable. Su Qingyuan found that she had no reason to cause trouble to Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili at all, so let them live quietly. When she was about to leave, what Su Qingyuan said to Zhao Heidao made Lin Feng very panicked. Su Qingyuan actually said, Heidao, you have seriously misunderstood Lin Feng in the past, but no matter what happens between me and Lin Feng in the future, it has nothing to do with you. Zhao Heidao smiled and nodded. He found out. Su Qingyuan seemed to like Lin Feng, but Zhao Heidao's mood changed completely at this time. Even if Lin Feng wanted to marry Su Qingyuan, he had no objection. What about Lin Feng? He definitely wouldn't marry Su Qingyuan, and he didn't even want to have an affair with Su Qingyuan. Lin Feng felt that the direction was a bit wrong, and he wondered, you don't want to take me to your mansion, right? You'd better take me back to the hotel room. I'll pack my things. I'll show up tomorrow. Thanks, you and Heidao are still buddies. If you leave now, it will be a bit boring. Shui Li is about to give birth, which is just a few days ago. Why do you have to wait to see the child before leaving? Su Qingyuan said. Lin Feng originally planned to go back after seeing Zhao Heidao and Meng Suili's babies, but what Su Qingyuan said to Zhao Heidao just now, it made him panic, and he wished he could leave Taiyuan in Jin province and return to Beijing in an instant. Cao Lin has a 3-bedroom apartment in Taiyuan, which was given to her by Su Qingyuan, so at night, she sometimes stays by Su Qingyuan's side, and sometimes she returns to her own home. Ever since Victoria came to Su Qingyuan's side, Cao Lin no longer has to worry about Su Qingyuan's safety, so at night, if there are no other arrangements, she will go home. It is a good enjoyment to go home and be alone, even if you are a little lonely. Sometimes Cao Lin will go shopping after midnight. She is not afraid of encountering hooligans. Because she has the ability to knock down ordinary hooligans. Victoria hasn't been with Su Qingyuan for a long time, so Su Qingyuan hasn't given her such an expensive gift as her house. Under normal circumstances, Victoria lives in Su Qingyuan's private mansion or Su's villa. When Lin Feng and Su Qingyuan walked in together, he saw that Victoria in a hot night dress was sitting on the sofa in the living room eating fruit and watching TV. The figure of this Russian beauty is already very hot, with big breasts, big butt, big legs and slender and plump legs. Under the contrast of this hot night dress, the taste is even better. Hormones are flying. Everything around was damp. Victoria didn't expect that Su Qingyuan would bring Lin Feng back. Did she want to spend the night with Lin Feng? No matter what Su Qingyuan's purpose was, Victoria first expressed contempt for Lin Feng with her eyes. Lin Feng, come here. Where to? Lin Feng was a little flustered. Upstairs. Su Qingyuan walked upstairs with graceful steps, and Victoria called to Lin Feng, "Toothpick, hurry up, my boss is calling you." Lin Feng said to the Russian beauty that your father is the toothpick, and then went upstairs. The Russian beauty was very angry, got up and swept her legs frantically in the direction in which Lin Feng's back disappeared. She hadn't seen Dad's thing since she could remember, but she believed that Dad must be a Big Mac, because she once heard about the old man. Mom's voice was so ecstatic, her body slammed like she was about to demolish the house. When they went to the study together, Lin Feng saw that Su Qingyuan's collection of books was much richer than that of his mansion. Lin Feng's mansion has a very tasteful study, but he did not deliberately add books to the study. If someone who doesn't know him arrives in the study, he will think for no reason that he wasted such a good study. Lin Feng sat on the mahogany chair, lit a cigarette and started smoking. "Qingyuan, you can't be in love with me. I have the uncensored version of Jinping Mei here, would you like to enjoy it?" "You'd better answer my question first," Lin Feng said. "Trigger, do you think I'll fall in love with you?" Su Qingyuan seemed to mean, "Is your kid a little self-indulgent? That's the best way to go." "But Trigger, you didn't understand what I said just now, or you didn't understand my eyes. Let me tell you, I fell in love with you. When I was in Shuiqing County, I fell in love with you," Su Qingyuan said. Lin Feng's eyes were dark, as if he was walking at night when someone suddenly gave him a sap. "I have a girlfriend," Lin Feng said. "Who is it?" "Tianqing Zhu, the school flower of Beijing Normal University. I have her photo here." Lin Feng took out the photo of the beautiful bamboo for Su Qingyuan to see, and her heart was suddenly filled with sighs. Beautiful and clear. Beautiful and clean. The combination of that unpretentious and charming face and slender and graceful figure can be said to be the allure of the country. Prettier than me. Comparing looks. "Are you willing to admit defeat?" Lin Feng said. "Don't say it's me, even when the popular actress so-and-so sees this photo. I dare not say that she is more beautiful than Tianqing Zhu. This is a kind of beauty that reaches its peak and is difficult to surpass. What if I told you that she was more beautiful than the picture? You stimulate me." Bang bang bang. Su Qingyuan's fist fell on Lin Feng's back. In the past, Su Qingyuan had no reason to hit Lin Feng, but now it makes sense because she fell in love with Lin Feng. "She's not as rich as me." Su Qingyuan seemed to be looking for some face to come back. "She must be richer than you." "She is very poor. Before she met me, she couldn't even afford a dress and never wore it," Lin Feng said. "Totally can't believe it." But Su Qingyuan could see that Lin Feng didn't lie to her. "Just imagine how cruel it is, Tianqing Zhu has such a beautiful face and such a wonderful figure. Before I met Lin Feng, I didn't even wear a skirt." Su Qingyuan was coveting him, so Lin Feng planned to dispel Su Qingyuan's coveting of him by chatting with Tianqing Zhu. The topic revolved around Tianqing Zhu. After chatting for more than half an hour, Su Qingyuan learned a lot about Tianqing Zhu. "I admire her very much. But also very incomprehensible. Su Qingyuan said, everyone goes to the heights, but your green bamboo, she likes to go where she is needed. The sentiment is too great, I can't compare it. You are richer than her. You're so cruel, you just threw it back to me as I said it. I really can't compare with her. But Su Qingyuan looked into Lin Feng's eyes, but for the time being, she didn't say what happened next. Come out. But what? I don't have her watching now. I want to sleep with you. Don't worry, I don't have a camera in my bedroom. No matter how enthusiastic the two of us are, they won't be recorded, Su Qingyuan said. But I don't want to. Because Zhao Heidao me, so you don't want to me again, Su Qingyuan said. It's not this, I don't want to. In the final analysis, it's because I used to be Zhao Heidao's girlfriend. You definitely don't want to have a relationship with me because you want to be very loyal to Tian Qingzi, Su Qingyuan said. My heart has always been loyal to Qingzi. What about your body? Sometimes I sleep with other women, but I don't want to sleep with you, Lin Feng said. You trigger. Su Qingyuan got angry, raised her hand and slapped Lin Feng's face. Lin Feng grabbed her wrist, but she fell into Lin Feng's arms. The chest hits. Belly sticks up. Lin Feng soon heard Su Qingyuan's breathing. This rich beauty seemed to be a little thirsty. I used to have only Heidao as a man. I have never fallen since I was young. I believe you, but I really don't want to have that kind of relationship with you. Lin Feng pushed her away. Su Qingyuan's tears flowed out, she just sniffed and didn't wipe her tears. She got up a moment later and brought the chess pieces over. Within 3 games, if you can win me a game, I won't force you, if you lose, you must sleep with me. Lin Feng's chess level is on par with his father's, but in the eyes of the charming woman, Sister Wang, he is a stinky chess basket. Lin Feng didn't know Su Qingyuan's chess skills. Since she dared to win chess to gamble, her chess skills would definitely not be bad. Lin Feng felt that he might lose 3 sets in a row. He said, if I lose all 3 sets to you, but I still don't want to sleep with you, what will you do? Drive to Beijing, rush to the company you signed with, and tell your general manager that you forced me to see you. Su Qingyuan's voice was very loud, very bold, even her towering were rising and falling violently. This seems to be more ruthless than what Mi Yanqing did at the beginning. Mi Yanqing just found a long-haired woman selling skewers to slander him in front of his beautiful editor-in-chief, but Su Qingyuan wanted to rush to the company to find the general manager to slander him. Lin Feng's eyes were suddenly dark again, as if he had suffered another sap just now. Damn it! The contradiction that should be resolved has been resolved, but Lao Tzu has encountered a problem again. Lin Feng looked at the pieces on the chessboard, and really didn't have enough confidence, but he could only bite the bullet and said, let's start then. Lin Feng lost the first game. Moreover, he lost in less than 15 minutes. He played the current level to the extreme, but he couldn't win against Su Qingyuan. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Peach Youth. Author, Su Qifeng. Chapter 440. Lin Feng was smoking, and anxiety appeared in his eyes. Su Qingyuan was also smoking, her lips were slightly raised, she skillfully spit out a smoke ring, and smiled. Lin Feng, your chess skills can't compare with your kung fu. I see, you are a stinky chess basket. Just now my gun mounts are all set up, and I'm waiting to bomb your car, but you don't even know how to use a horse to protect the car. I didn't see that trick clearly. In fact, after you bombarded my car, I wanted to regret the move, but I was too embarrassed to say it. Lin Feng was very embarrassed, and the sweat on his forehead flowed out. You're a trigger, you dare to think about anything, And you still want to regret chess? My mother won't let you regret chess. We agreed that in the next 2 games, no one is allowed to regret chess, Su Qingyuan said. Fine. Lin Feng has no way out. If he loses the next 2 games, he can only accompany Su Qingyuan to the bed to do warm things. Otherwise, Su Qingyuan will become crazy, and it is possible to go to Beijing and make a fool of himself at the company he signed. If this happened, I'm afraid it would be difficult for him to explain it clearly. In the second game, Lin Feng seemed to be showing signs of super performance, because twice he made Su Qingyuan frown and think about chess moves, but in the end he still lost. Su Qingyuan was quite proud and smiled charmingly. Smelly chess basket, do you still want to play the third game? Hold on to the end. Don't be afraid of being abused by me, then continue. Su Qingyuan was very active, and quickly placed her own pieces and began to place Lin Feng's pieces. You go first. Hold on. Lin Feng lit a cigarette again and started smoking. After he finished smoking the cigarette, he took the first step. In fact, he just wanted to leave the study and call Sister Wang for advice, but if he did so and Su Qingyuan found out, it would be equivalent to cheating. Even winning the third set doesn't count. Lin Feng played chess very slowly, and had made Su Qingyuan mad 3 times in a row. Su Qingyuan didn't know whether this game of chess could be played in 2 hours, or at least. Can the game of chess be over at dawn? You brat, Su Qingyuan got up angrily. If you overturn the board, you lose. You think I'm stupid? I won't overturn the chessboard. Su Qingyuan quickly sat down again. Lin Feng speeded up a little, but he seemed to be more cautious than before, racking his brains. It can be regarded as a few good moves. An hour passed, and Lin Feng and Su Qingyuan were at a deadlock. Su Qingyuan really wanted to win against Lin Feng, but there was no good way for a while. Another half an hour has passed, the battle situation has been decided, and Lin Feng is going to win. However, Su Qingyuan made a regretful move. Lin Feng said, "You can't regret chess, this is what you stipulated. If you regret a move, I guess I will lose." Woohoo! Su Qingyuan cried aggrievedly, "You kid, you will regret it? What do you regret? Since I won you a game, then I don't have to sleep with you, and there is no reason for you to go to the company I signed," Lin Feng said. Su Qingyuan stomped her feet again and again. Full of resentment, he glanced at Lin Feng and left the study. Just now, Lin Feng was really worried that Su Qingyuan was lying and said, "I want to make a fool of myself, I'll make a fool of myself," but fortunately she didn't say it. Lin Feng arrived at the room that Su Qingyuan had arranged for him and lay down on the soft bed. What he thought was that he couldn't code this night. In Su Qingyuan's room, she was not sleepy at all, but she looked a little tired as she was sitting in front of the computer browsing the web. She didn't feel excited when she heard the knock on the door. Knowing that it was not Lin Feng who was knocking on the door, but the Russian beauty Victoria. "What's wrong? Boss, did Lin Feng put a cup of cool white on the bedside table?" "Yeah, what do you want to do?" Su Qingyuan asked. "Look at this. Laxative." Victoria actually wanted to put laxatives in the Liangbei Kai on Lin Feng's bedside table, which was a bit evil. But Su Qingyuan liked it very much. "Go, give that kid more, it's best to keep him from getting up." "Oh, don't go now, I guess he hasn't fallen asleep yet." "Oh." 2 hours later Su Qingyuan said. "Okay." Victoria walked out with graceful steps, her slender legs were very energetic. Just an hour later, Victoria couldn't wait any longer. She walked outside the room where Lin Feng was sleeping and listened. She didn't hear any movement, and almost immediately opened the door and went in. She soon realized that the sound insulation of the room was very good. Even if Lin Feng listened to the music on the computer, she would not hear any movement outside the door. Maybe the kid hadn't slept yet. If she went in at this time, she would make a joke, it's better to wait a little longer. Another hour later, the Russian beauty finally opened Lin Feng's door and walked in with barely audible footsteps. At this time, Lin Feng had already fallen asleep, and he dreamed of Dinan. When the Russian beauty approached the bed, Lin Feng heard a little movement and instantly became awake a lot, but he didn't open his eyes immediately. Judging from the wafting aroma, the person who came in was Victoria. He began to feel the movements of this Russian beauty with his heart, and he realized that the Russian beauty put something in his cool white. It is unlikely to be the poison that will kill him. It is estimated that it is a laxative that will make him very embarrassed. Lin Feng began to think, is this what Su Qingyuan meant or what Victoria meant? Whoever means it is evil enough. Victoria thought she had succeeded, but when she wanted to leave comfortably, Lin Feng instantly grabbed her arm. Oh! The Russian beauty screamed, and the moment she tried to break free, the other hand made a fist and slammed into Lin Feng's face. Lin Feng even restrained her other arm, and with a violent pull, the body of the Russian beauty, graceful, flew up and pressed heavily on him. Full and soft. After buffering for a long time, it can be seen how predictable the body of this Russian beauty is. Bastard, let go of me. While the Russian beauty screamed, Lin Feng kissed her neck. The reason why she didn't kiss her mouth was because she was afraid that she would touch her tongue. If this Russian beauty became evil, she would definitely have the courage to bite his tongue. Lin Feng turned around again. Pressing the graceful and soft body of the Russian beauty on her body, she immediately felt that she was more predictable. As for her pair of towering breasts, she would not get tired of playing for hours. Lin Feng's hand first touched the belly of the Russian beauty, and then slowly stroked it upwards. Her body was struggling all the time, but it was of no use. In the face of Lin Feng's provocation, she actually felt a sense of powerlessness, and Lin Feng's strength was so great that she was surprised. Oh! The Russian beauty screamed again, because Lin Feng's hand had already touched her towering chest. It's soft and delicate, and feels great to the touch. This can be said to be very high-end enjoyment. At this time, Lin Feng's smile was a little evil. Because the behavior of the Russian beauty is very evil, so he also becomes evil. He intends to use his own evil to defeat the evil of Russian beauties. Su Qingyuan hadn't fallen asleep either. Judging from the time, Victoria should have put the laxatives into Lin Feng's liangbeikai and came out, but she didn't come out after she went in. Broken. Lin Feng must have been caught. Su Qingyuan's heart jumped violently. If Lin Feng was caught, what will the consequences be? Will her beautiful Russian bodyguard be seen by Lin Feng? If she was forced to see, what crazy things would Victoria do? Just when Su Qingyuan wanted to rush in to save the Russian beauty from the heat of the water, the door opened, and Victoria walked out sadly. The reason why she was said to be sad was because tears had already splashed from her eyes. It seemed really bad. Su Qingyuan did not rush into Lin Feng's room to ask why, but brought Victoria to her room. What happened? Just when I put the laxatives into the cool white opening of the bedside table and was about to leave, my arm was suddenly grabbed by him, and then... The Russian beauty went on a little embarrassed. But Su Qingyuan wanted to listen. She wondered, then he took you. No, boss, he doesn't have that me, but he ate my tofu. How did he eat your tofu? At this time, Su Qingyuan really wanted to be eaten by Lin Feng, so she wanted to know how Lin Feng eats Victorian tofu. The Russian beauty told the scene of Lin Feng stroking her belly and chest. Her face turned gloomy. Boss, I'm going to kill Lin Feng. Su Qingyuan fell in love with Lin Feng. Does any woman want the man she likes to be killed? Therefore, Su Qingyuan will never allow Russian beauties to kill Lin Feng. Enough. Hearing Su Qingyuan's stern shout, the Russian beauty became dazed. You don't have to be at a loss. I don't allow you to do anything to hurt Lin Feng. You should understand what I mean. Go to sleep. Okay, boss. The Russian beauty is helpless, it seems that she can only let Lin Feng eat tofu in vain. When Su Qingyuan arrived at Lin Feng's room, Lin Feng was lying beside the bed smoking a cigarette, and anxiety appeared in his eyes. "What are you doing here? Victoria's operation failed. Are you going to fight yourself?" "No." Su Qingyuan walked to the side of the bed, and she actually stepped over Lin Feng's body and lay inside. After Lin Feng put out the cigarette, he turned over and saw Su Qingyuan's very warm face. No malice, very emotional. Lin Feng said, "Qingyuan, maybe you really like me, but we are not suitable for ambiguity." "Irresponsible and ambiguous," Su Qingyuan said. "It sounds cool. It seems that there is no man who does not like to play irresponsible ambiguity with beautiful women." If it was Zhu Qingyu or Sister Wang from Beijing who said this to him, he would be very comfortable, but it was Zhao Heidao's ex-girlfriend Su Qingyuan who said this to him. "Never mind. I've made it very clear to Heidao that no matter what happens between me and you in the future, it has nothing to do with him, so he will never hate you for your affairs with me again," Su Qingyuan said. "I do not want. You trigger, you make me so depressed." "You also make me very depressed," Lin Feng said. "To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read. Peach Youth. Author, Su Kifeng. Chapter 441. Su Qingyuan actually rode on Lin Feng's body, and sat on his twice before jumping out of bed and leaving. Lin Feng experienced the fullness and elasticity of Su Qingyuan's buttocks, but he felt very uncomfortable. A kind of ambiguity is to enjoy. There is an ambiguity that is torture. The ambiguity that Su Qingyuan brought to Lin Feng was a kind of torture, which made him stand upright and made him uncomfortable. After returning to her room, Su Qingyuan's body was very wet. She took off her and threw them aside to let the air in her wet place, and then changed into a new pair of panties. Her body is superb. She is a noble and rich name. Morning. Su Qingyuan made green onion cake and egg soup by herself, and served Lin Feng breakfast. "The taste is not bad," Lin Feng praised Su Qingyuan, "but it made her a little sad. In the past, Heidao always said that I couldn't cook anything, but would cook instant noodles and boiled eggs. He also said that after marriage, he would suffer. At that time, I said that if we have money, we can hire a nanny who is good at cooking, but he said, I just want to eat the food I cook, so I can only think of improving my cooking skills. In the end, although my cooking skills are not that high, but the dishes he likes to eat, it can taste. You are still very fond of Heidao. I've given up on him completely. I won't disturb his life again, I won't give him any more trouble, and if he encounters trouble in the future, I'll help him." Su Qingyuan's eyes changed, as if she was saying to Lin Feng, "I want to maintain that kind of ambiguous relationship with you now, the kind of relationship that I am comfortable with and you are comfortable with, but you don't know how to flatter you." Su Qingyuan, the daughter of coal boss Su Kailu, is in Taiyuan and beyond. They are all famous beauties, and it is not too much to describe her with national beauty and heavenly fragrance. There are too many men who want to have an affair with Su Qingyuan, those who pursue her and those who have a crush on her. There are at least dozens of people, but now Su Qingyuan has had a relationship with a man named Zhao Heidao. But it's a bit strange that she wants to be with Lin Feng again now. If she is really with Lin Feng, it is equivalent to her, a very rich and social status woman, and let Zhao Heidao and Lin Feng, good friends, play with each other. Whenever Lin Feng thought about this, he would be very awkward. In fact, this is also the main reason why he doesn't want to maintain an ambiguous relationship with Su Qingyuan. Before leaving the table, the Russian beauty whispered another word, toothpick. She had never seen Lin Feng's thing before, so she could only satirize for no reason. "Victoria, you are free today, why don't you go shopping?" I'll just have Lin Feng to accompany you. Okay. The voice of the Russian beauty was very pleasant, but her heart was not happy. Lin Feng ate her tofu last night, and she wanted to punch Lin Feng violently. Lin Feng was very depressed and didn't know what Su Qingyuan wanted him to do today. He said, "There is nothing important here, I plan to go back to Beijing today." "Why is there nothing important?" Shueli said that she was born. "You are Heidao's iron buddy. If you don't wait for Heidao's baby to be born this time, it will be too boring." "But you. Lin Feng almost cried, "I beg you, don't be ambiguous with me, I can't bear it. You are really a good person. There are many hypocrites and real villains in this world, but you are a real gentleman. If I met you instead of Heidao, I don't know if you would be my husband. My father is a big man. Old man, but he likes people who are engaged in literature. He used to sponsor a poet from Chenzi to publish a book. Unfortunately, the poet printed 5,000 volumes of poetry. Not enough of them were actually sold. Well, making a living by writing online novels can be considered to be related to literature. If my father saw the novels you wrote, I don't know how much he would admire you," Su Qingyuan said. Lin Feng just wanted to shout, "My God!" If Su Kailu admired him, then it would be even more difficult for him to escape, so he wanted to show off even more today. Even if he left before Meng Suili gave birth, I believe Zhao Heidao would not blame him. Lin Feng asked tentatively, "Where is your father?" "In the mine over Yangquan. If someone else was in Taiyuan, I would have taken you to see him long ago, and I would have told him, 'Dad, I have chosen another son-in-law for you, this one has a higher gold content than the previous one.' I don't know how many times. My grass. You want to me? Su Qingyuan, you are crazy." "I've always been a little crazy, and it hasn't changed since kindergarten." What do you want me to say?" Lin Feng almost collapsed and was completely powerless. When he was sitting on the sofa smoking a cigarette, Su Qingyuan sat beside him and kept asking him where he wanted to play today, but he remained silent. Su Qingyuan's cell phone rang, and it turned out to be her father Su Kaila calling. She immediately screamed, "It is estimated that my father is coming back today." Lin Feng has almost reached the point where Tian Tian should not be called to the ground. How he hopes Su Kailu will come back in a week. He admires that legendary fierce man. If there is no emotional bond, he would really like to meet him. Opinions, have a drink and chat for a day. But in this case, he didn't want to see Su Kailu at all. "Dad, where are you?" "As soon as I got home, I missed my precious daughter, so I rushed back in the morning." "Where did you go to play?" Su Kailu's words showed his love for his precious daughter. "In my mansion, with a capable man." "What kind of person?" "I seem to have mentioned it to you once before. Kung Fu is good at literary talent." "In your words, it means that both civil and martial arts are very good," Su Qingyuan said. "Su Kailu is a kind person. I have always hoped that there will be people who are both civil and military. But all the time, most of the people around him are very good at fighting. There are too few literary talents, and there is not a single one who is both civil and military." The Chenzi poet he once funded and sponsored made him extremely depressed. "I don't seem to be impressed." "Oh, what did he write?" Su Kailu said. "Internet novel. Good guy, who writes online novels. You ask him if he knows an author whose pen name is Mu Feng. If he knows Mu Feng, I will meet him. When the person comes home, let him go where he should go," Su Kailu said. "Dad, he is Mu Feng." "Qingyuan, you are not allowed to make such a joke with your father. If he dares to pretend to be Mu Feng, I will break his leg." "Your father, I like reading urban novels written by Mu Feng. Just when I returned from Yangquan to Taitai. On the way to Yuanyuan, I have been reading his novels. The supporting character named Zhao Qingyu in his book has a similar experience to your father and I," Su Kailu said. "He's really woodwind. Really, Su Kailu still couldn't believe it. It's true. Mom is AB, you let him come, let me ask him. Zhao Qingyu's little lover will not come back after he runs to Vancouver, Canada. If he doesn't come back, I will break his leg, Su Kailu said. Dad, wait, I'll bring the great Mu Feng to see you, and then you can ask him personally, Su Qingyuan said. Lin Feng was about to urinate. How could this be done? Even in his dreams, he would never have imagined that Su Qingyuan's father, Su Kailu, would actually be his book fan. Su Qingyuan's chest hit Lin Feng's arm, and the smile on the corner of her mouth was so intoxicated. Let's go, Lin Feng, go see my father. If he asks you, Zhao Qingyu's little lover is still not back, you can say it. Your original setting is not to come back. Even if you change this line, you have to let that little lover come back, otherwise my dad will on you. If your father me on my face, I'd throw him into the mine, and when the people in the well asked, which one with no eyes fell in, I'd say, Boss, Lin Feng said. You're the trigger, I'll screw you to death. Su Qingyuan really twisted Lin Feng's arm hard. I rely on. It hurts. In anger, Lin Feng didn't know what he was thinking, but he pinched Su Qingyuan's chest. Oh. Lin Feng, you made me feel so comfortable, hurry up and continue. Su Qingyuan's seemingly ecstatic shouting made Lin Feng more urgent to urinate, so she could only run towards the bathroom. Both father and daughter are superb, almost leaving him nowhere to escape. Lin Feng came out of the bathroom and did not see Su Qingyuan's shadow. It was estimated that he went to the bedroom to change clothes. Lin Feng thought of escaping, but he quickly thought of Su Kailu sending someone to stop him at the station. Even if he successfully leaves Taiyuan and returns to Beijing, Su Kailu may use Zhao Heidao to blackmail him without seeing him. Su Kailu thought that Zhao Heidao was not pleasing to the eye at first, and he estimated that he would take this opportunity to repair Zhao Heidao severely, which would be pitiful for Zhao Heidao, the soon-to-be father. Never mind. In order not to leave any sequelae to his good friends, whether it is the Sea of Swords and the Sea of Fire or the temptation of Wenro Township, he plans to go for a walk. Su Qingyuan appeared in front of Lin Feng wearing a set of very tasteful and gorgeous clothes, very charming and very beautiful, noble. If she walks on the road like this, she will be so shiny. If she appears in the night scene like this, she will be so attractive. If any man without long eyes dared to casually chat with her or try to eat her tofu, it is estimated that the thing would be kicked and swollen, and his arms and legs might also be broken. A life needs no explanation. Although Su Qingyuan's love is very unsatisfactory, but since her father developed, she has also been crazy for many years. When the Russian beauty Victoria was choosing bags at the store in Liuxiang, the Porsche Cayenne was already speeding on the asphalt road. Su Qingyuan was driving beautifully. Sitting next to her, Lin Feng's face was very embarrassed. In this mood, even the scenery outside the glass window seemed disturbed. Lin Feng began to cry in his heart, God, save me, but God will not come at this time. Su Qingyuan's father Su Kailu is about to come in front of him. To be continued. If you like this work, you are welcome to come to the starting point, to vote for recommendation and monthly tickets. Your support is my biggest motivation. Mobile users, please go to to read.